Call Halal Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Yahweh Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for pushing 100% truth through rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect that have been scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom. This is Matazah Lacham, and I was watching the videos yesterday. I'd seen Elder Apostle Ramlab, and he had made a video concerning the brother over at Arrows of Indignation, this particular video that we're about to go into. And I did a little bit of further digging and research, and in Canada they had originally introduced a bill a couple of years ago, back in 2023, 2024, the C-367 bill in Canada concerning persecution of the saints, who would be individuals that would be standing on street corners preaching the gospel, saying it would be illegal to pray in public in Canada. Now, being that Canada is part of the British Commonwealth, just like America is part of the British Commonwealth, just like Australia is part of the British Commonwealth, all in as far as Africa, the land of Canaan, which is part of the British Commonwealth, okay, Israel, which is part of the British Commonwealth, parts of China and Russia, which are part of the British Commonwealth, okay. These Edomites have been busy for the last 500 or 600 years, close to 1,000, well, pretty close to 1,000, between the 9th and 10th centuries till now. They've been busy whitewashing history, changing things around, turning things upside down, as it is written in Isaiah 29:16. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. This is what these devils have been doing. They've been turning the potter's clay, the potter being the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, everything upside down, whitewashing history, changing the narrative, everything, and taking natural resources and everything else. So what our job is to do is to notify the elect and let them know that it is time to come out of the way of practicing the heathenistic ways of false idol worship, such as yourself as an idol, happy birthday bullshit, going to church on Sunday, worshiping a false dead white man who happens to be a gay homosexual, coming out of the wicked vibration of this planet, because these things are about to pass away, and hell, we're running out of time, and a lot of people don't get it. They think, well, God loves everybody bullshit, which is another lie that was created by these Edomite Caucasians, man. I mean, these motherfuckers have been, man. Whew. Let's go into this video, and I've did some research and digging, as I mentioned earlier, of other videos concerning the same thing. Okay, so we're going to put it all together, and I might have to make a backup video concerning this one, and I'm going to put that in Chat GPT. I might do it in this one. I don't know. Let's watch.
This is a bill that is very disturbing on so many levels, and we'll discuss that in today's podcast. Here it is. This is from Life Site News. Canada's House of Commons passes an anti-Christian bill that would criminalize quoting the Bible. Let's get on down here and read a little bit of the details of this. All right. The majority of Canadian MPs have voted to pass a Liberal bill. Again, this is not something that may pass. This has now passed. This bill will allow the criminalization of religious expression and belief when quoting parts of the Bible, including about homosexuality and gender. We've been warning about this. Has been in the radar for a long time. We knew this was coming. And you may be tuning in and say, well, Brother Ricky, I don't live in Canada, so this doesn't apply to me. Oh, it will. Because, again, just because it ain't in your neck of the woods doesn't mean it's not coming to your door soon. Recently, MPs from the Liberal Party in the Bloc in Quebec there in a 186 to 137 vote passed a bill called Bill C-9, known as the Combating Hate Act, Conservatives, NDP, and the Green Party's MPs voted against the bill in a rare form of unity among the usually opposing parties. The bill now heads to Canada's rubber stamp Senate for review. A last-minute effort by the Conservatives to change the wording of the bill failed to pass. Earlier this week, Liberal MPs forced the bill through the report stage after earlier, as reported by LifeSite News, shutting down all debate on the bill in the committee stage. In comments sent to LifeSite News, Campaign Life Coalition blasted the passage of Bill C-9 and called upon Christians and pro-life advocates to prepare for increasing hostility. Quote, with the passage of Bill C-9 in the House, Christians and pro-life advocates will almost certainly face an entirely new level of hostility as the door swings open to actual persecution under a, quote, cloak of supposed legality. This was according to the CLC's campaign's manager, David Cook, who is also a Christian pastor. Cook went on to say that the bill C-9 was framed as a law going after hate, but in reality it is a bill that religious leaders from various faith communities say could lead to hate-related charges against believers. It empowers ideologically driven police officers and judges to target, for the first time, the very word of God on matters of life, family, and faith. Quote, we must prepare for the battle ahead, said Cook, adding Canadians must commit to the one who has won the ultimate victory over every foe, demonstrated by his resurrection on that first Easter morning. CLC Director of Political Operations, Jack Fonseca, noted that the bill C-9 must be stopped in its tracks in the Senate, but he admitted, it will be a hard battle, as most of the senators were appointed by former Liberal Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Guys, the battle to defend religious freedom in Canada has now moved to the Senate, which unfortunately Justin Trudeau has spent the past decade stocking with anti-Christian bigots like Christopher Wells, a radical LGBT activist who I suspect will relish the opportunity to, quote, criminalize parts of the Bible as hate speech. So, guys, you can see how this is concerning. You can see where this is going. Despite this, Fonseca noted that there is always hope that things could turn around. We call upon all people of goodwill to flood senators with phone calls, emails, social media comments, and if possible, personal visits. For those who are Christian, we also encourage these efforts to be reinforced spiritually through extra prayer and fasting between now and the final third reading vote in the Senate. God answers those who ask for help. So if you live in Canada, he is calling on everyone to pray. I would advise even you guys here in America and outside of America, you may be watching from Australia or whatnot or other locations, pray for our Canadian brothers and sisters. They're already on Facebook, when we post and share things on our Facebook page, they can't even read this. They can't even read the articles. So we have to put, we put the link in the comments, but sometimes they say that they're censored. Now, here's another follow-up article on this. Christians warn to expect increased hostility and persecution after this bill passes. So let me give you a little more detail about this. Currently, Section 319 of the Canadian Criminal Code, now I had to do some research on this, again, because I'm not Canadian. This provides a specific safeguard for people of faith. It states that a person cannot be convicted of, quote, willful promotion of hatred if in good faith they express an opinion on a religious subject or an opinion based on a belief in religious text. However, this new bill, Bill C-367, the Act Bill C-9, they're mingled together here, explicitly repeals this defense. Without this protection, listen to this, critics say that quoting specific biblical passages on marriage, sexuality, or sin could be legally reclassified as hate speech. What have we been, guys, we've been saying this for years now. We said the time would come when this book that I'm holding in my hand, you guys listen by Apple, by Spotify, I'm holding the Bible. I said that there would be entire passages of this Bible that would be deemed to be hate speech. It would be deemed to be bigotry and divisive. Here we are. We're here. And it's starting in Canada. It's not, I wouldn't even say it's starting in Canada. There's other locations outside of Canada that's doing this as well in Europe. All right. So, if a court deems a scripture to be hateful, the speaker can no longer use their sincere religious belief as a legal shield. So I would expect if you have street preachers in Canada, you're going to see a lot of them, you know, if they're out there preaching the word of God, and if someone comes and reports them and they deem this to be hate speech, you're going to see arrest. You're going to see street preachers being thrown in jail.
Okay. Right. See? So you're going to see street preachers thrown in jail. Now, let's see. Let's go over here.
A Canadian hate speech bill is drawing backlash from critics who warn it could chill religious speech and expose some people to prosecution for quoting the Bible. Does that have your attention? Being arrested, prosecuted for quoting the Bible? Okay, so what's in the background to this? It is what is known in Canada as Bill C-9. It is identified as the Combating Hate Act. I have been looking at the government's website and at the official legislative report and just looking at the text. The bottom line is that the most dangerous thing is the existence of the hate crime, hate speech legislation in the first place. When you have specific protected classes, you run into conflict with, in this case, just a Christian quoting the Bible. Because the included classes include sexual minorities. And that's just a huge part of this. We're talking about these new synthetic human rights and designations of groups. And so any speech that is homophobic or transphobic is going to be illegal and can lead either to a hate crime, depending upon the action, or certainly a hate speech criminalized offense. And there are real offenses here. At the felony level, you could be talking about something like 10 years in prison. At a lesser level, just short of 2 years in prison. You're talking about someone just quoting the Bible and that being defined as hate speech. That's not just an idle threat. That's not an empty threat. That is a clear and present danger. This is one of the ways an increasingly oppressive government is moving on the legitimacy of religious expression. Just speaking the truth is a Christian responsibility. And when you speak about Christian responsibility, you realize that we're talking about something that's deeply rooted in the Old Testament. Examples like Daniel and others who refused to bend the knee and to worship the idol. The contemporary demand is that we bend the knee and worship the idol of these new sexual theories and these self-declared sexual identities, and cease talking about what God has revealed in Scripture. That is something Christians simply cannot do. And I think it's vitally important that we recognize how close this danger is to all of us.
Okay. These goddamn Christians truly do not understand. These things must come to pass in order for the Son of Man to come and deliver you out of the hand of your adversaries. Okay? There's no way you're going to get around this. These goddamn Edomite Caucasians calling themselves Christians cannot accept the fact that white privilege, white supremacy, okay, and Christianity is all bundled up as hate speech. Okay? They can't deal with that.
Take me to work.
Okay? So, they just can't deal with that. Okay? They can't deal with it. So, I'll be right back. Shalom. Yeah, I had to, drop the rib off at work. It's all good. But anyway, like I said before, man, yeah, I was shook, man. I'm still shook a little bit. I mean, the people, it's like they don't understand or something. It's crazy.
Ain't gonna be no motherfucking peace, man. Peace is over.
As long as this devil is ruling, there ain't gonna be no peace. Why can't you get that through your thick skull? It's over for this place. And these are just more nails in the coffin, sealing their fate. And we welcome it because it's prophetic.
Yep, that was Elder Apostle Ramlov breaking it down, man. I mean, he's right. Shit, man. I mean,
Canadian hate speech bill is drawing backlash from critics who warn it could chill religious speech and expose some people to prosecution for quoting the Bible. Does that have your attention? Being arrested, prosecuted for quoting the Bible? Okay, so what's in the background to this? It is what is known in Canada as Bill C.
Bill C-9, right? All right. Now, let's go and find some more information on this Bill C-9.
There is a cosmic law that is absolutely irrefutable that says that the cabal is not allowed to shoot the Red Cross workers. The planet itself is sick because of folks like the cabal. Ultimately, the universe is intelligent, alive, and conscious, and it is benevolent. It is a benevolent consciousness. That consciousness does not allow the negative to succeed unless it is invited. So the cabal has made a science, a very elaborate science, out of studying these arcane, occult, magical principles that allow them to get away with what they do. So they have to put out everything that tells you who they are in music videos, in these Super Bowl halftime shows, the Grammy Awards ceremonies. They're out there showing you the truth. Congress passed laws that said that if the U.S. declares bankruptcy, which it already is, that they will go into everyone's bank accounts and take their money to bail out the government, just like they did in Cyprus. You just indiscriminately release that information now. People say, what do you mean? Everything's fine. I got a car. I have food at the grocery store. I drive my kids to soccer practice. And we hang out on the weekend. We go to work during the week. Our lives are fine. Everything's fine. What's your problem? Why do you have to be so negative? So what they need to do is wait for things to get obvious enough that people are activated. There is a...
Okay. All right. So, and that was from David Wilcox. They just unalived him. You know what I mean? They just straight up unalived him because he was breaking it down from the cabal perspective, and he was breaking everything down on a carnal level. He was starting to reach into the spiritual realm but he was reaching into the spiritual realm on the left-hand side and breaking things down. The individuals that are in charge, they ain't having that shit. No, you don't. Use a snitch. Let's put his ass out. They put his ass to sleep. Plus, he was on the UFO team of trying to bring about, all of the unidentified aerial phenomenon, anti-gravity, using protons and electrons, splitting an atom, laser beams, all of this other type of shit, man, as weapons to fight against Michael the Archangel, like it says in the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 7. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. What dragon? Dragon Space Force, dubbed Dragon Space Force in 2017 by Elon Musk. Okay? Through SpaceX. Before then, you never heard of goddamn SpaceX, right? Okay? Plus, which is completely unrelated to what's going on, but I was just making a side note. Okay? The Dragon Space Force, right? And then and the Dragon Space Force and his angels, the Celestial Angel Program, which is the pilot program through Space Force, right? The Donald Trump dubbed Space Force, which is the 6th or 7th branch of the goddamn United States government now. Okay? As far as the military hand is concerned. Okay? And his angels fought against the angels of heaven and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. These fucking Edomites are finished. They know it. They're running out of time. The angels of Michael are already here. They're surrounding the planet. America has the most UFO and unidentified aerial phenomenon sightings in the world since the 1800s. The most. Why? Because the children of Israel are here in America. Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. The highest concentration of God's chosen people are here. Okay? That's the highest concentration. We've been scattered throughout all of the earth, and the chariots are there watching them, but the highest concentration is here. This is where it says in Isaiah chapter 19, verse 1, that the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai will come out of nowhere and save the day. Let's go get it. Okay, let's go get it. Isaiah 19 and 1. The burden of Egypt, right? Spiritual Sodom and Egypt. Behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud. The swift cloud is the unidentified aerial phenomenon, what they call orbs, that they call tic-tac, right? These orbs, these chariots of the Lord, the chariots of salvation for the Israelites. No one else. That's what they're pissed off about. And shall come into Egypt, right? Spiritual Sodom and Egypt, America. And the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, right? Shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it, right? All of that pride. Oh, I'm proud to be an American citizen, buddy. When they see the chariots of the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai in the sky, just like Independence Day, they're going to run for the hills, run up under any rock to hide, like it says in Revelation chapter 6, verses 15 through 17, you know. And they say to the mountains and the hills and the rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth upon the throne and from the power of his majesty. For who shall be able to stand? Roughly paraphrased, right? Okay. So they're going to go into the clefts of the rock. The Most High has made us fishers, like it says in Jeremiah chapter 16, verse 16. Okay, and we shall fish them. Those are the elect of the house of Israel, that we try the Spirit by the Spirit, because like it says in Romans chapter 8, verse 16, the Spirit itself that beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. So we stand on street corners preaching the biblical scriptures to find the elect hidden, scattered, intermingled with all of the heathen nations, because we don't know who's an Israelite and who isn't, because our people's bloodline have been intermingled with these heathen devils for so long and intertwined for their with their wicked imaginations, okay, for so long, we don't know who is who. So we go out there and preach and risk our life and our freedom to preach the word, being instant in season and out of season, reproving, exhorting with all long suffering and doctrine as best we can, in order to persuade those that we're trying to find the salvation. That's basically the basic premise of reason why we're out there. Okay, we're trying to save our people. Fuck the rest of you. 2/3 of our people going to be cut off and die, because they're going to sign up with Esau, because they, just like Esau, want this wicked world to continue. They want to continue to pay taxes. They want to continue to go to goddamn work every day at 5 or 6 o'clock in the fucking morning. Their back hurt at the end of the day. They want to continue to go to the goddamn to the bar on the weekend, like the Edomite was just talking about. Oh, we have our jobs and we go to work every day, and you know, we pay our bills, and then we go get drunk on the weekends, and then we start all over. Fuck all of that shit, man. The Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai has had enough of his people being tortured, where we have to go to work every day. Come on, man. Goddamn, 500 years of work. Ain't you had enough? Ain't you tired? Damn. Okay, you would think you get tired, man. And the introduction of Bill 367/C-9, okay, is going to become a global phenomenon, okay, because all of these devils have already bowed down and gave their allegiance and worship to satanic power, Baphomet, Moloch, the god of abortion, right, and Baphomet, okay, the androgynous false god, half woman, half man, half goat type bullshit, half bat, half angel, half or whatever the fucking half and half and half. You know, these motherfuckers have bowed down to statue. They got a statue of Baphomet and 2 little kids looking up to it, a little white girl and a little black boy looking up to this goddamn statue of Baphomet in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, man, at the state capitol. What the fuck? They took out the actual 10 commandments that were written in the book of Exodus, word for word, the 10 commandments, man. Thou shalt not, thou shalt not. Removed it in the middle of the night and set up this goddamn statue of Baphomet, man. In one night, they switched their allegiance from the Most High to satanic power. Okay, in one night, and they've been watched, and the world been going straight down here at a 45-degree angle with axle grease on roller skates ever since, with no handhold in sight. Okay, driven straight into the goddamn ground by a child at the age of 73 years old, aka Agent Orange Nero 47. Just drove straight into the goddamn ground, stealing all of your resources, stealing all your money, and cutting off all of your food sources in order to force you to make a decision that will cost you your eternal salvation. These goddamn devils have to be stopped, and you want this world to continue? You're an idiot! Okay? God damn these people, man. Okay, so let's go back over here and find some more information on this information. Let's find some more. Hold on. I got some more. I got a lot of more.
All right, Shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all glory, honor, and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakah, HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at GMS. Peace, honor, and respect to you brothers that's out there laboring, edifying, rightly dividing the word in truth and sincerity. And Shalom to you believers out there at the Aki and Wagwa. And
yeah, Trudeau praying in public, reading aloud from the Bible is hate speech to be severely punished, right? All right. So let's go over here to the People's Voice, right? Hold on. Let me see. The People's Voice. Okay. Boom. The People's Voice. Boom. Let me see if I can find it. Advocacy group. Blah, blah, blah. The People's Voice. Let me see if I can find it. They make it hard to find, man. Fake news, whatever. Fake news website. Wow, that's fucked up. Hold on. I'm trying to find it, man. They say the shit is fake news, huh? Okay. Wow. The People's Voice. Can I get that? I don't know. They won't let me go to the URL. Okay. Now let me type it in on the search engine. I know there's a search engine on here. There it is. Let me see if I can find Bill C-367 / C-9 Canada. Boom. See if I can find it. I don't know if it's in there. It won't let me go to it? I don't know. Nothing found. How in the hell does that work? Okay. Let me just find it again. Come on. Nothing found. King Charles dying of Kuru after decades of child meat banquets. I mean, come on, man. You can't make this shit up. Come on, man. This motherfucker is dying, huh? So that's the reason why they pulled the bullshit, because King Charles was supposed to come to America, right? Okay. False flag. Okay. Free energy found. A scientist found. Okay. Let me see, man, if I can find this thing. Evidence emerges, blah, blah, blah. Left-wing U.S. hospital, blah, blah, blah. China, New York City. Rupert Murdoch. Trump orders resignations of treasonous military officials, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. Damn, they won't let me. Okay, what's this? Whatever, man. Okay. Let's see, news. Let's go to the news, huh? Middle East, do they have Damn, come on, man. I'm trying to find it, man. It won't. It won't let me. Motherfucker won't. It won't let me do it, man. Okay. Yeah, they got a lot of stuff in here, man. Hold on, man. Okay. Damn, talking about fake news. Your goddamn lies real. That's just the thing. Middle East world technology, entertainment, health, science and technology. Middle East world, UK, US. Let's try world. Okay. France, Zelensky, IDF, children, Spanish Prime Minister, Turkish President, Bank of England, 2. Let's see if we can go to page 2. Okay. Alright, let's see, what's this? Boom. Canadian government rolls out latest woke super acronym for the grievance machine. Okay, whatever the fuck that is, right? Alrighty. The Canadian government and NDP MP Leah Gazan just unleashed whatever with a straight face. What is that? What the fuck is that, man? I'm gonna have to go into a web search. What is that? Okay. MMIWGS G2S LBGTQQIA plus is a Canadian acronym standing for Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women, Girls, and Two-Spirit, Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, Queer, Questioning, Intersex, and Asexual People. What? There's only 2 genders, male and female. What the fuck? God damn, they got that many genders now? Come on, man. Plus other gender diverse identities used in government advocacy and to honor victims. It emphasizes intersectional violence against indigenous people. Okay, well, the Latinos, Native Americans, and Negroes are indigenous to their different lands, which is the land of Israel. Okay, but you ain't standing up for us. Fuck you. You use us as a platform in order to jump off with this weirdo shit, man. Purpose and context, intersectionally, whatever, action plan, visibility. Okay, so clearly, okay, right. Okay, I'm talking about, I ain't trying to go off into that. Where is the one I'm trying to talk about? Okay, I guess they ain't got it. That's all good. They ain't got it. Let's go ahead. Let's get this, man. All right. Praying in public, reading aloud from the Bible is hate speech to be severely punished. Okay? Right? This is what the fuck they want to do. Okay, let me see. Let me see if I can find some more. Hold on. Famine of the word. Persecution watchdogs warning Canadian bill could send Christians to prison, right?
Jeff, you're warning about a new Canadian bill, C-367. You've said that this bill could threaten Canadians' public expressions of faith. This is deeply concerning. What can you tell us about this proposal?
Well, I would say, so first of all, it amends the criminal code and it takes away some religious exemptions that protected Christians. So if you're in the United States, we saw the same kind of thing with the Equality Act that the Biden administration was trying to pass. And basically it creates hate speech laws. Some of those have already advanced in Canada, but Christians were protected. They said, well, if they're saying biblical things or if they're saying things according to their faith, whether that's Quranic or biblical or whatever, they're protected. And this is the alarming thing, is that this strips those out. There is no protection. And as always, this is what the dictators and the despots do overseas to strangle Christianity or whatever faith. They say, oh, we have religious freedom, but not in the public sphere. So it's the same game. It's the same game being advanced around the Western world, and even what we saw again with the Equality Act in the United States.
Well, and I think we have to put this against the backdrop, those who would dismiss concern about this, of what is going on all over the world, especially in the West. Look at Pavi Räsänen in Finland.
Yes.
Look at, case after case after case. She's been exonerated twice, essentially, and now they're appealing it to the Supreme Court. So there's a real move here in multiple countries to go after people of faith. how is the bill, and this is always interesting to me, how is it being promoted? Because, of course, they're not going out there and saying, we want to crack down on Christianity. How are they promoting this?
That's great. Yeah, so these, hate speech laws are always being promoted to for the common good in one way or another. So whether that's we're going to protect LGBTQ followers or, those people as a class of people, or for anti-Semitism, it almost doesn't matter because the hate speech laws always create division. They always create hatred. And look, these things always smack of Banana Republic because very simply, here's how this thing works. This is people who are elected in a democracy, and it's almost like the Marxists. They get elected in a democracy, and they use the laws of the state and they twist them and they dismantle them. They dismantle the protections and go after their political enemies. It's total Banana Republic stuff. It's just not seen that way, but it should be.
So in this, in this provision, in this proposal, let's say somebody goes out there and they oppose LGBTQ ideology. They say public things, maybe in interviews, or, I'm sure we don't know exactly how it would manifest itself, or they're advocating against transitioning children, in the transgender issue. What would happen to them potentially if this were to pass?
Yeah, well, I interviewed a pastor recently who is a Canadian pastor who's been arrested a number of times for street evangelism. And again, here's what happens. So a lot of times he's not even being obnoxious. He's doing street evangelism, completely legal. And then the cops show up. So if he is in an area where people know who he is and their LGBTQ crowd, they will cause a complete ruckus. And then guess who gets arrested? So right now, he can end up at the police station, but they say, wait a minute, there's no real case here. So lots of times that's even a game. They arrest him, take him off the streets, and then they say, well, there's no case, so we'll throw him out. Or as in the case of Paivi, as you said, what happens is then the Christian can be charged, and then those charges can stick. So they can receive fines or prison time. So there has to be, in a democracy, the bedrock of democracy is religious freedom, and religious freedom is so potent because it encapsulates a number of other freedoms. You have freedom of speech, assembly, thought, conscience. So again, to remove freedom of speech protections in a democracy is a nightmare, and it's signaling the death and the dying of democracy. It should be looked at in no other way. Anybody who's advancing this stuff is completely an enemy of democracy and is looking to get weapons to attack their political opponents.
Well, and we know Christianity is good and true and right, but we should also have freedom to have bad ideas. This idea that somebody is saying something offensive and they should be restricted and prevented from doing it. If you're not harming somebody physically or hurting them or taking something away from them, it's very disturbing to me that this is the trend that we're okay with now, that there are people. And let me just say this too: the idea that this is even being proposed, right? Because I'm sure you've heard people who are saying, "Don't worry about this. This is no big deal. It won't."
Yeah.
Right. Talk about that a little bit.
Well, you have to look at the trajectory. There is a trajectory here. There was the hate speech laws passed in Canada in 2003 and 2004. But again, there were protections. See, everyone, gosh, Christians, calm down. Everyone, let's take a step back and be reasonable here. And now, here we've got a number of years later, and those protections are removed. So you truly have to be concerned about this. This is not a thing. I wrote a news release recently, and I said, my hair was a little bit on fire, but I said, look, we can either start engaging in the political system as Christians, and we can do civil disobedience. We should take to the streets because that's what will back these people up. Or else you should continue in your warm bath and wonder what are those bubbles forming all around you and coming up from the bottom, alluding to we're the frog in the kettle. And unfortunately, that's just where so many Christians find themselves. These things are being promoted by enemies. They absolutely know what they're doing. They're looking for weapons to attack their political enemies, to attack Christians, and it's really an attack on all democracy. We all have to have the ability to be obnoxious and to debate and to say things that are crazy. You know, we can't stand up in a theater and scream fire. We can't say this person should be attacked or killed. But democracy means you have freedom of speech, all ideas. It's the marketplace of ideas. Everyone should be able to voice their opinion, no matter whether it's great, bad, or stupid, whatever.
How are, from what you can tell so far through your work at International Christian Concern, how are Christians and other, because this doesn't just affect Christians, it affects people of other faiths. Yes. How are people reacting to this proposal from what you've heard?
Well, so many people are not aware of it. That's the alarming thing. So I'm glad we put it out there and it's getting some attention. But it's largely anything dealing with democracy and the passing of arcane laws, and when they're these small things that's the whole point. They're passed quietly and hopefully no one notices. So most people, unless they're involved in advocacy or religious freedom, they're not quite aware. They know there's something wrong. They see, what did we see recently with the White House working with social media to attack enemies and to attack speech they didn't like? Crazy in terms of democracy. Päivi, like you said, another Finnish congresswoman, an MP, but a congresswoman, and attacked repeatedly by basically the Justice Department in their country. And it doesn't matter whether the court's exonerated. The Justice Department, the liberal, very liberal Justice Department, who doesn't like her stance, is going to keep coming after her. That's punishment enough. She'll be ruined financially. She'll be tied up and completely ineffective as an MP. And that's the real course of action. So getting back to the core of the answer is, like, many people just don't understand what's going on, and they need to wake up.
Okay. These motherfuckers ain't gonna wake up, okay? Christian bullshit, right? I gotta get some scriptures. Gotta take it apart. Take it apart. Get him, Finn. Right? Luke chapter 8, verse 17. For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. Okay? Take heed therefore how ye hear, for whosoever hath, to him shall it be given. Right? So the truth has been given to the elect of the house of Israel. Okay? And through these video epistles, us giving you the warning, standing on street corners as a light on a hill, instead of under a bushel, standing as a light on a hill to tell you the truth to your face. Right? Like it says in Amos chapter 3, verse 6, shall a trumpet be blown in a city? Okay? And the people be not afraid? Right? And the Lord hath not done it, roughly paraphrased, whatever. See? And whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken even that which he seemeth to have. Right? And, you have individuals that are out there that have already went back into the world, that have left the faith, that left the truth. They're still leaving because they don't see, or the eye salve has been wiped off of their face, and they can't see the future of what these Edomites and the wicked machinations that they're trying to put together in order to destroy our people. They've lost sight of the prize. They took their eyes off the prize. You see what I'm saying? And by doing that and practicing worldly bullshit through Sakari and the Pega Monster, Pegatron, and the mother Genesis Israelites, One Body Yahawashi, all of these other groups. You know what I'm saying? These are all set up as false prophets. Okay, Tazariak, General Yohana, all of these lunatics. They all came from the same place, but they were not with us, right? Not of us. Salakia. Oh, that's a good one. 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Right? I think it's in second, what is that? Is it 2 Peter, I think it was? Okay, let me saw that. I think it's in 2 Peter is what I'm looking for. 2 Peter, where am I at? Boom. Right. Yeah. Yep, 2 Peter 2:1. But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privately shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that bought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. Right? Yep. Yep, they were not of us, that's for sure. Anyway, let's go back to Amos chapter where is that? Amos chapter 8, verse 11. Right? Salakia. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. Okay? But of hearing the words of the Lord, man. This is what they're trying to do with this Bill 367/C9. And listen, Donald Trump converted to Judaism in 2017. Okay? It was done quietly. It wasn't in the news. Nothing. Okay? They quietly took it off. It's hard to find the video anymore. I got a copy on both my channels of the video. Just type it in. Go to modtazala.com and type it in about Trump switched to Judaism in 2017 with a question mark. Anyway, so yeah, and it shows proof him switching over to Judaism, all of that type of shit. It's crazy. So since he's a Jew, that means that in order to push this thing that they're doing in Canada, they're going to bring the Noahide laws here in America. The Noahide laws are a set of laws, are the laws of Noah, right? Okay, that's basically all it is, and which are the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God that were given from father to son, father to son, father to son, which is laws of morality. Now, based on they're trying to do away with freedom of speech, saying that certain biblical passages in the Bible is considered hate speech concerning Moism and LBGTQ and all little extra weird bullshit. You see what I'm saying? Okay, come on, man. These people have been worshiping Satan for years. Listen, I think it was last year, right at the end of last year, or the beginning of this year, a conflagration of senators and governors and lawyers and statesmen from America went to Israel to pledge allegiance to the Israeli lobbyists for money, for gain, okay? In order to everybody band together in their different states across the union at a certain time that they would put this law into effect, thereby destroying freedom of speech. Okay? They're all loyal. All of our statesmen, all of the fucking government, Project 2025, are all loyal to Benjamin Nothing Not a Jew, who is also loyal to the Rothschild family, the Rockefellers, the cabal that David Wilcock was telling you earlier in the video about. Okay? The elites that we call at the top. Okay? Now, we just saw King Charles is dying from ingesting human flesh. Okay? All right, come on, man. You can't make this stuff up. We're trying to tell you. Look, where do you think that they were getting all these babies to eat every day from? This motherfucker's damn near 80 years old. That's all he's eating was human flesh all the day of his life. Goddamn straight up cannibal. Okay, you had Joe Biden coming up smelling on little babies. Oh, the baby smells so good. You remember that shit? Come on, man. I mean, you can't make this shit up. These people have been, man. Oh, wow. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of the Lord. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of the Lord, and shall not find it. This is what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it illegal. Right? Godless devils, man. Okay, going back to Amos chapter 5, verse 10. They hate him that rebuketh in the gate, and they abhor him that speaketh uprightly. Right? That's what they do here in AMP. They hate the one who reprimands the unrighteous in the court held at the city gate, regarding him as unreasonable and rejecting his reprimand, and they detest him who speaks the truth with integrity and honesty. Come on, man. They hate him, detest. Okay, what is detest? Okay, define detest. To detest is to dislike someone or something intensely, feeling violent antipathy, abhorrence, or extreme hatred. It goes beyond simple dislike, signifying a deep emotional aversion. Okay, a deep emotional aversion. Damn, common uses examples. Those two really seem to detest each other. Man, come on, man. You think not? Synonyms: loathe, abhor, hate, despise, abominate, execrate. Okay? Wow. Anyway, where was I at? Boom. Right? Now, let's go over here to Isaiah chapter 29. Right? Verse 20. Right? For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the terrible one is going to be brought down. Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, which is in the process of happening right now. And what Elder Apostle Ramlab earlier in the video was bitching about is because these things must come to pass in order for the Son of Man cometh. All of the famine of the word, the persecution of the saints, all of that, everything. Let's go get it, man. Because God damn, man, really? Wow. Okay, hold on. Where was we at? Matthew chapter 24, verse 4. Verse 3. And he sat upon the mountain of Olives. The disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Hamashiach, the Messiah, and shall deceive many. That's been going on since Jim Jones back in the 1970s when he made everybody drink the Kool-Aid and he killed damn near over 1,000 people, decided to commit suicide while this motherfucker blew his own brains out, right? Okay, you had David Koresh down in Texas back in the early 90s, right? Well, burned it down, right? Several different individual examples of individuals pretending to be Hamashiach, right? And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these things are the beginning of sorrows. Right? And that's where we're at. We're right at the beginning. Verse 9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall unalive you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. They hateth him that rebuketh at the gate, right? Okay, we just got that in AMP. Then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. That's going to happen too. You're going to have friends, family, brothers, sisters, cousins betraying their family members in order, okay, to get some extra universal basic income applied on their microchip. Okay? These devils are trying to use subtlety, okay, and gradualism, but they're running out of time. So they're speeding up. And the reason why they're running out of time is because the Most High has sped up time for the elect's sake. Let's continue reading, right? And many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. And we just went over that in 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1, right? And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold, right? And the love of many want to wax cold here at these in the end times. You know, you can have husbands unaliving their entire family, wife, ex-wife, entire children, all of his babies, and then unalive himself, right? But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. And this gospel shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, then shall the end come. And that's what's happening with these video epistles. They're all over the place. They're all over the world. Why do you think these Edomites are becoming more and more aware of individuals standing on street corners preaching down their kingdoms? Okay? That's because the gospel of the kingdom of heaven on earth, as it is in heaven, like the Lord's Prayer says in Matthew chapter 6, okay, is coming down and coming in their lifetime. And these evangelical Christians don't want that, man. They just want to live in peace and sincerity, like David Wilcox earlier in the video told you. They just want to go to work every day. They want to pay their bills, okay, because as long as it doesn't affect them directly, they don't have a problem with it. They'll just continue on, no problem. That's what the cabal is depending on. That's what the elites are depending on, okay? The ignorance of the people, to have blinders on their eyes so this way they can't see, right? Right? Matthew chapter 24, verse 21. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. And that's what's happening. These Edomite devils are running out of time. You know, they don't know what else to fucking do. Now, going back over here to Isaiah 29, where's we at? And 20. For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off. Right? We are the watchers that watch for iniquity. Right? Going to Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17. Right? Son of man, I have made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. Therefore hear the word at my mouth, and give them warning from me. When I say unto the wicked, thou shalt surely die, and thou givest him not warning, nor speakest to warn the wicked from his wicked way, to save his life, the same wicked man shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at thine hand. Yet, if thou warn the wicked, and he turn not from his wickedness, nor from his wicked way, he shall die in his iniquity, but thou hast delivered thy soul. So we're basically standing on street corners to get the blood off our hands. We did what we were telling you to do. We stood stiffly for the name of the Lord, right? Wow, okay, that was just, damn, pushed the wrong deal, okay? Let's go here, right? Amos, nope, I was in Isaiah, right? Yeah, Isaiah chapter 29, right? Verse 21, that make an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate. And the snare that they're laying is changing all of these laws and unrighteous decrees and grievous laws that they prescribe, right? Like it says in Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless. And what they're doing right now, what they did that widows may be their prey, they set up the welfare system, right? Section 8, right? So that widows may be their prey, you know. The supervisors or the supers of these apartment buildings where they can get subsidies from the United States government, there's no man in the house. They're robbing the fatherless. Okay? There's no man in the house. They're robbing the young men of their fathers to teach them righteousness, to teach them integrity. You see? Being raised by a woman, they don't have these things. They become monsters. Menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. Okay? Because these women are out there having sex, uncontrolled sex, on their monthly. Okay? Okay, they're nasty. These women out here. No bullshit, man. Okay, menstruous women shall bring forth monsters. These little kids are coming out, okay, in 3 or 4 months and being raised up, like it says in 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 20 to 21. Okay. Anyway, going back to Isaiah chapter 29, verse 21. That maketh a man an offender for a word, and they lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught. We just went over that, right? In Isaiah 10 and 2, right? Now, let's go over here to Isaiah. Oh, damn, that was just the next chapter. I'm tripping. Isaiah chapter 30, verse 20. And though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner any more, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. These evangelical Christians do not understand the holy scriptures of the Holy Bible. Why? Because they don't know what the fuck a precept is. They have no clue as to what I dare you. Ask a Christian, what's a precept? What? What are you talking about? They ain't got a fucking clue, man. Okay. Like it says in Isaiah 28, precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. These Edomites don't know how to read the Bible. They just read it straight through, and that's where the confusion comes in, because the Bible is a parabolic and symbolic book. Okay. And they go back and forth in time. And that's what it confuses, especially the book of Revelation chapter 20. You couldn't get a Christian to break it down for shit. They'll say that book is sealed. They will, man. Okay. And thine eyes shall hear a word behind thee, saying, this is the way, walk ye in it, when ye turn to the right hand and when ye turn to the left. Right? And that's what the Holy Spirit has done to the elect of the house of Israel. Walk ye in it, the truth, when you turn to the right or when you turn to the left, right? With integrity, right? With righteous thoughts. Okay? Where we rehearse the righteous acts, like it says in Judges chapter 5, verse 11. Okay? In the lands of drawing water, in the lands where we've been scattered, where we have to go to work every day. Okay? While we're at work, okay, we rehearse the righteous acts, which is to fear the Most High and keep His commandments. Okay? I mean, that's what we're supposed to do. And it's not grievous, not hard. Okay? Where you make your mistakes in keeping the law, statutes, and commandments, the Most High sent His only begotten Son to shed His blood once and for all. Those that are elect, predetermined to receive this information, this esoteric knowledge, this secret knowledge, only to be given to a select few. Okay? Like it says in 2nd Ezra. I'm sorry about being all over the place. I really am, okay? 2nd Ezra chapter 8, verse 1. And he answered me, saying, the Most High hath made this world for many, but the world to come for few. Right? Right? And then we come down here to 2nd Ezra chapter 8, verse 61, I think it is. And therefore now is my judgment now at hand. These things have I not shown unto all men, but unto thee and a few like thee. So the kingdom of heaven is only made for a few like the elect and our apostles and elders of Great Millstone that led us in this way to teach us what we need to know in order to avoid punishment, to receive salvation, which is rulership over our enemies, our adversaries that want to unalive us, and we ain't busted a grape in a fucking fruit fight, man. They want to unalive us for the color of our skin, man. And because we have the testicular fortitude to stand stiffly for the name of the Lord. Wow. Murderous thugs, man. That's all they are. Thieves, vagabonds, murderers. They're fucking, man. I apologize about cussing so much, but I mean, you know, they just, wow, man. These people, they are amazing. Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 14. right? Wherefore thus saith the Lord God, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai of hosts, because ye speak this word, behold, I will make my words in thy mouth fire, and this people wood, and it shall devour them. Okay? I will make my words in thy mouth fire, and this people wood, and it shall devour them. Okay, Salakia. I'll be right. Salakia. Okay? There was somebody at the door. I had to go get it. All right. Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 14. Wherefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, the power of hosts, because ye speak this word, behold, I will make my words in thy mouth fire, and this people wood, and it shall devour them. Right? And that's basically what's happened. Okay? These people are being burnt the fuck up. They've been pricked in the spirit for their wickedness and what they've done. Right? Jeremiah 5 and 1. Run ye to and fro through the streets of Jerusalem. Right? Now, Jerusalem is a people before it's a place, like it says in 2 Maccabees chapter 5, verse 19. You see? And see now and know and seek in the broad places thereof, if ye can find a man, if there be any that execute judgment, that seeketh the truth, and I will pardon it. Right? Like it says in Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 17. Precept. Boom. Okay? Son of man, I've made thee a watchman unto the house of Israel. The house of Israel and the house of Jerusalem and the house of Judah are all one people. Israelites. Okay? See? But anyway, like I said before, Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 5. I will get me unto the great men, and will speak unto them, for they have known the way of the Lord, and the judgment of their power. But these have altogether broken the yoke and burst the bonds. Right? We're the individuals that are standing on street corners as a light on a hill to show and instruct our people in what they need to do to avoid punishment, so this way they don't have to be destroyed by the Most High in the brightness of his coming when he gets here. Okay? Being turned to dust, like you saw in that Tom Cruise movie, War of the Worlds, where these spaceships were zapping people and turning their ass to dust and dust, ashes, soaking up all of the water, right? Okay. Now, the rest of that bullshit is science fiction, because there ain't going to be anybody left on the face of the earth alive. Okay? Thermonuclear war is going to burn this motherfucker to the ground and melt everything down to the mantle. America's going to be hit by so many thermonuclear weapons, it's going to bust the place into 3 separate pieces. Like it says in Revelation chapter 16, verse 19. Okay? Let's see. Ezekiel chapter, okay, I did that. 2nd Ezra chapter 1, verse 35. Your houses will I give to a people that shall come, which shall not hear of me yet shall believe me, to whom I have showed no signs, yet they shall do that I have commanded them. Verse 36. They have seen no prophets, yet they shall call their sins to remembrance and acknowledge them. Right? Because you have people out there that come up to us all the time that saying you guys ain't prophets or whatever have you, but those individuals that believe that we are the prophets coming back in the reincarnation, those are the individuals that we're looking for to persuade them to salvation, to come out of the way of Babylon the Great, America, Babylon the Great, in order to rehearse the righteous acts, read their Bible, get to know what the Most High Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai wants for your life before they shut off the word. Because out of our bellies flow living water. Rivers of living water. Okay? As you can hear. Okay? And this living water is going to pertain to your salvation, which is immortality and the kingdom of heaven. Right? Hold on, let me get it. Tree of immortality. Boom, boom. Ecclesiasticus chapter 19, verse 19. The knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life. Okay? They say, well, you can't keep the law perfectly. You can't keep the law. The law's done away with. No, it hasn't. The consequences of the violation of the law was done away with by the sacrifice of Yahweh Shai on the tree. Okay? His blood was shed to cover the elect that was given to Yahushua by the Most High God, by leading them to repentance, okay, by the outpouring of the Holy Spirit, as it is written in Joel chapter 2, verse 28. In the last days, okay, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. Your old men shall dream dreams, your young men shall see visions, and the young women shall prophesy. Okay, and the servants and handmaids will I also pour out my spirit. We are the servants, and the handmaids are those women, the Akwath, that believe in what we're telling them and what they should do in order to get in order before Yahushua gets here. There's going to be a very few people left on the face of the earth. Okay? It's only going to be a few that are going to be saved. God, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, sending his only begotten son, Yahushua HaMashiach, only to save a few. Those are the elect, the remnant of the seed of the house of Israel. That's it. Fuck everybody else. That's the reason why we keep going into, like I'm telling you, that's the reason why we go off into Zechariah chapter 13, verse 8. 2 parts therein shall be cut off and die, but a third part shall be left therein. That third part, okay, are the elect of the house of Israel that were predetermined, like it says in 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 1 through 5, verses 1 through 5, that predetermination, predestination, okay, mentioned you were chosen before the foundation of the world by the Most High Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, to receive that salvation. That's it. That's it. And this is what they want to stop. All of this information that we're telling you, they want to put a stop to it. Okay? Ecclesiasticus 19:19, the knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life, and they that do the things that please him, which is to fear the Most High and keep his commandments. Like it says in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter, fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. The only people that he refers to as men on the face of the earth and trees, olive trees, right, are the Israelites that have been scattered abroad throughout the 4 corners of the earth. Everybody else is a wild brute beast. Why? Because the law, statutes, and commandments were only given to one people. It weren't given to everybody on the planet. That's the reason why these evangelical Christians don't get it. They should be helping us push the truth of the gospel in order to exacerbate and speed up time and shorten the days. So this way we could read this, we can receive the salvation that was promised us. Right? But they don't get it. They want to continue on in the world and do dumb shit. Okay? They want you to be perfectly content to be a fucking slave. Right? Now, you heard David Wilcox earlier in the video. He was talking about, okay, they want the people to pay back all of the debt that the United States government owes to all these different people. That's the reason why your taxes are going up, hyperinflation on the food, everything. They're trying to get any kind of win, right? And they that do the things that please him shall receive the fruit of the tree of immortality. And the fruit of the tree of immortality are the righteous acts found in Judges chapter 5, where you follow in behind righteous men with integrity. Okay? Okay? You shall, like I said before in Isaiah chapter 29, verse 21, you know, you're going to hear a word behind thee to tell you to go this way, to stand in the way of truth, whether you turn to the left or whether you turn to the right. Okay? That's the fruit of the tree of immortality. And only these individuals will be the ones that are going to receive that information. Okay? Esoteric knowledge, remember, esoteric knowledge. This esoteric knowledge is only meant for a few. It wasn't meant for everybody. That's the reason why everybody can't get it. Okay? Like I said before. Okay. Okay. And where was we at? Oh, that's right. I forgot. Boom. 2nd Ezra chapter 1. Right? Verse 36. They have seen no prophets, yet they shall call their sins to remembrance and acknowledge them. That's called repentance, right? Call their sins to remembrance and acknowledge that they committed a sin, okay? and rehearse the righteous acts, which is to stop sinning. The only people that can be called sinners are Israelites, because the law, statutes, and commandments were given to them, and they weren't given to all nations on the face of the earth. Okay? So the only people that can be called sinners are us. Everybody else can do whatever the fuck they want to do. But see, that was the allure and the snare and the trap of our people for so many centuries. Of everybody else gets to do what they want to do, but we can't. And it was the jealousy that grew out of it. You see? And the envy that grew out of it. So a lot of our people started marrying into these heathen nations willingly. Okay, that's where the book of Ezra and the book of Nehemiah in the Old Testament is breaking that down, of our people that had willingly decided to go and marry into these heathen nations, taking on heathen women, our women taking on heathen men as husbands, and having children, teaching them different languages other than Hebrew, which is exactly what happened to us right today. Right now, we as the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are Gentiles. Those are Gentile names given to us by Gentile heathen. We're the Israelites of the Holy Bible. Okay? It's a fact. Nothing you can do about it. Boo-hoo! Let me shed a tear or some stupid shit for you. It's not my fault. The Most High Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai did this. He wanted us to have this esoteric knowledge, and he only imparted this knowledge to a select few individuals. Remember? Second Ezra, I said, only given this information to thee and a few like thee. That's it. Okay? Verse 37, I take to witness the grace of the people to come, whose little ones rejoice in gladness, and though they have not seen me with bodily eyes, yet in spirit they believe the thing that I say. See, it takes faith, the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen, found in the book of Hebrews chapter 11, verse 1. For by it our elders had good report. Who are our elders? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Not Abraham, Isaac, and Esau, Abraham, Isaac, and Ishmael, Moab, Ammon, the Philistines, the Hagarenes, the Egyptians, and Amalek, and the children of Lot. Okay? It doesn't say Abraham, Isaac, and the children of Lot. No, it doesn't say that, does it? Okay? Now remember, Jacob, name was changed to Israel, and he had 12 sons. Okay? By 4 different women. Okay? He had 2 sisters, and they both had a handmaid. So he would be switch hitting the shit out of them. That's why he had so many kids. They were all boys. Okay? By these 4 women. 4 of them now, I'm telling you. And that's the history of our people. That's the reason why a lot of us so-called black-only Israelites don't accept the Latinos and Hispanics. But they don't understand that these 4 women were from different nations of people that he had bust off his seed in. So you're going to have Israelites that have the straight hair. That's the reason why the tribe of Gad had, the vast majority of the tribe of Gad had straight hair. Okay, it was still living hair because it was coming from Israelites, right? But what did these Edomites do? Biological warfare, smallpox. They had diseases in which the immune systems of the indigenous population of people that were already here had no way to fight back or combat against. That's the reason why they went from anywhere between 150 to 250 million people from sea to shining sea down to less than 200,000 in less than 30 years. These goddamn people have got to be stopped, man. They have, I mean, come on, man. They had the original 13 colonies on the East Coast, and everything else was indigenous population of people land. From Alaska, they didn't discover Alaska, okay? You can't just goddamn go into somebody's country and then say that you discovered something. You ain't discovered nothing, okay? You can't just, where are you going to say you discovered Iran? You discovered their oil? That's a civilization that's been alive longer than you've been alive, Edomite. I mean, come on, man. Wow, man. See, that's what I'm saying, man. These motherfuckers, they don't change. Okay. Now, let's go to the book of Acts. I probably just have to close out here pretty soon, man, because I think I'm over an hour. It's all good. Acts chapter 5, verse 25. Right? Acts chapter 5, verse 25. Then came one and told them, saying, Behold, the men whom ye put in prison are standing in the temple and teaching the people. Right? because this goes into a biblical context where Paul and Barnabas were put in prison for preaching the word. We can start up. Okay. Hold on. Salakia. Right. Let's start here. Let's start at Acts chapter 5, verse 16. There came also a multitude out of the cities round about Jerusalem, bringing sick folks and them that were vexed with unclean spirits, and they were healed every one. Then the high priest rose up, and all they that were with him, which is the sect of the Sadducees, right? Okay, which are the Zadokites from Zadok, the high priest of the bloodline of Levi, right? Okay, because through I think Zadok, okay, you have Zechariah, right, which was the father of John the Baptist, right? Okay, hold on. Then the high priest rose up, and all they that were with him, which is the sect of the Sadducees, right? Because they used to be called the Zadokites. Okay, they were called the Zadokites. I forget which book that's in. God damn. I think it's in 2 Chronicles. Damn, I can't remember. Damn. But anyway, and were filled with indignation. Indignation is anger, right? And laid hands on the apostles and put them in common prison, right? This is what they're threatening us now with being on street corners, risking our lives and freedom, okay? Putting us in prison, putting us in jail. But the angel of the Lord by night opened the prison doors and brought them forth and said, Go and stand and speak in the temple to the people all the words of this life. And when they heard that, they entered into the temple early in the morning and taught. But the high priest came, and they that were with him, and called the council together, and all the senate of the children of Israel, and sent to the prison to have them brought. But when the officers came, they found them not in the prison. They returned and told, saying, The prison truly found we shut with all safely, and the keepers standing without before the doors. But when we had opened, we found no man within. Right? Now when the high priest and the captain of the temple of the chief priests heard these things, they doubted of them whereunto this would grow. Then came one that told them, saying, Behold, the men whom ye put in prison are standing in the temple and teaching the people. Then went the captain of the officers and brought them without violence, for they feared the people lest they should be stoned, right? Because the people was going to they were going to get ripped the fuck apart because they wanted salvation, man. Something was wrong. They knew it. Something in their spirit was pricking them. Something is wrong, but they couldn't fix it, right? So any feel-good doctrine at that time was better than nothing, right? And when they had brought them, they set them before the council and the high priest and asked them, saying, Did we not straitly command you that you should not teach in this name? And behold, you have filled Jerusalem with your doctrine and intend to bring this man's blood upon us. This man being Yahushua, right? Verse 29, Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, We ought to obey the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, rather than men. For the power of our fathers, Yahweh, raised up Yahushua, whom ye slew and hanged on a tree. Him the Most High Yahweh exalted with his right hand to be a prince and a savior, for to give repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sins. And we are his witnesses of these things, and so is also the Holy Spirit, whom Yahweh hath given to them that obey him, right? See? And these devils, they don't obey the Most High God. They're wicked. That's the reason why they want to try to reprimand us and put us in prison and change these unrighteous laws and decrees to their benefit, to the detriment of those risking everything to stand up stiffly for the name of the Lord. Right? 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 12. Right? No, not 1 Timothy, 2 Timothy. Salakia. Okay, 2 Timothy. It was 2 Timothy 3 and 12. Salakia. Yep, and all that will live godly in Hamashiach Yahushai shall suffer persecution. Right? All right, hold on. Let's 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 8. Now, as Jannes and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth. Men of corrupt minds reprobate concerning the faith. Right? So the people that are coming after us are all of these delegates, senators, governors, statesmen that have bowed down and pledged their loyalty to the Israeli lobbyists, aka the land of Israel. Okay? For profit, for money, for gain. Right? But they shall proceed no further, for their folly shall be manifest unto all men, as theirs also was. But thou hast fully known my doctrine, manner of life, purpose, faith, long-suffering, charity, and patience, persecutions, afflictions, which came unto me at Antioch, at Iconium, at Lystra, what persecutions I endured, but out of them all the Lord delivered me. Yep, and all that will live godly in Hamashiach Yahushai shall suffer persecution. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. Okay? And that's what's going on. You know, you're going to have 2/3 of our people that are going to be led by these false prophets that are going to deceive and be deceived. Like it says in 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. You see? Now, let's go to 1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. Is this not a doctrine of the devil? Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, the devil the Bible speaks of, the living embodiment of satanic power on the face of the earth, his avatar in which he works wickedness amongst the people. Right? Speaking lies in hypocrisy, having their consciences seared with a hot iron. Right? Forbidding to marry, and commanding to abstain from meats which the Most High hath created to be received with thanksgiving of them which believe and know the truth. So you must know the truth and believe in the Spirit about what was told in the book of Leviticus concerning the dietary law of what foods to eat and what foods not to eat, as opposed to God says you can just pray over a pork chop and you can eat it. Fuck that. That's not what he said. Okay? These people misconstrue the holy scriptures and twist it to their own destruction. Right? Anyway, let me go to Proverbs. Where am I at? Proverbs chapter 15, verse 10. Correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way, and he that hateth reproof shall die. Okay? Say it again. Proverbs chapter 15, verse 10. Correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way. Right? So a lot of these people don't want to hear being upbraided and reprimanded for their wickedness all the time. Every time they see a man with fringes standing on a street corner in a long drawn out garment from head to toe made of one fabric, that scares the shit out of these people. So now they want to push these unrighteous laws and decrees to see what they could do about putting a stop to it. Okay? Threaten you with jail time, put you in jail, put you in prison. We just saw and heard and read an account together in the book of Acts about Peter. Okay? And Barnabas being put in prison. If we go further in Acts, we'll see Paul being put in prison and being released by angels. Okay? You see? So, I mean, these devils, man, they're running out of time. They're trying to put a stop to everything, because this is goes all the way back to the Tower of Babel and rebellion against the Lord. That's all it's about. Okay? Let me go to Psalms. Go to Psalms chapter 14, verse 1. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. The fool has said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. The Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, looketh down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand and seek the Most High. We found that in Jeremiah chapter 5, verse 1. Same thing. They are all gone aside. They are altogether become filthy. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. Have all the workers of iniquity have no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread and call not upon the name of the Lord? Okay. There were they in great fear, for the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, is in the generation of the righteous. Ye have shamed the counsel of the poor. Right? They shame the counsel of the poor by talking, scoffing, mocking against us to destroy us from off the face of the earth, to try to dissuade us from preaching the gospel, to go back into the world like they did, take the bag, all of this other miscellaneous type shit. They try to shame us, right? And the counsel of the poor are the righteous men that risk their lives in freedom to spread the truth of this gospel. Said the same thing over and over again, doesn't it? For the Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is in the generation of the righteous. Right? Because the Lord is his refuge. Right? So, anyway. I'm going to get me one more. Was it Proverbs chapter 4? Verse 7. Wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Yahweh Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for pushing 100% truth and rule well. Peace and salutations. Shalom.